Morning, dear hearts. We are on lesson 57. Please subscribe. So what are the words for today? Well, we have more than one because this is actually a series of lessons that are a progression. So we are going from prisoner to prison break to freedom. So we have the whole gambit here. I'm going to do something that I did the other day, taking all of these lessons, the titles of the lessons, reading them in a way that make them into a complete thought, because they are. So, I am not a victim of the world I see because I have invented the world I see. And I'm realizing that there is another way of looking at this world. And when I do, I will be able to see peace instead of what I'm looking at. And I realize that my mind is part of God's. And I am very holy. So that becomes our whole progression, the whole full thought that these 5 lessons are giving to us. So we'll start with, I am not a victim of the world I see. And of course, it's like, how could I be a victim of the world I see when I made up this world? So if I made it, can I not unmake it? So how can I be a victim of the world that can be completely undone if I so choose? My chains are loosened. I can drop them off merely by desiring to do so. The prison door is open. Now, yesterday we completed our lessons and we had the metaphor of the door. And I said, you know, that door, we will hear a lot about that door throughout the course. So the prison door is open. The door yesterday was the one behind the world, behind my thoughts. My thoughts right now have me imprisoned. That door is open. So when one side of the door, it appears to be my prison. But when I walk through that door, I am walking to heaven. I am going home. And that door is open and ready for me to do that. And in addition to that, our elder brother stands by it. I can leave. I can leave simply by walking out. Nothing holds me in this world. Only my wish to stay keeps me a prisoner, and I would give up my insane wishes and walk into the sunlight at last, into the light. It says sunlight, but it's really going into the light of who we truly are, and we'll get there too. So now I have invented this world that I see. My jail cell is open. I'm realizing my insane thoughts that have made up this prison. I made up the prison and that I see myself in, and all I need to do to recognize this, I recognize that I have done it, and now I'm free. I'm totally and completely free. I deluded myself into believing that it's possible to imprison the child of God, which is absolutely absurd. I was bitterly mistaken in that belief. And I no longer want it. I no longer want that belief. The child of God must be forever free, because the child of God, he is as God created him, and not what I made of him. And this is an idea that, again, it's a major idea throughout this course, and we will become much more familiar with it. The child of God is where God would have him be, and not where I thought to place him in a prison, make him into a prisoner. The third lesson for our review is there is another way of looking at this world, which is very much a reworking of lesson 3, that I do not understand anything I see in this room, out the window, down the hall. Okay, so now, since the purpose of this world is not the one that I gave it, not the one I ascribed to it, there must be another way. There has to be another way. And again, this is a world of duality, which this lesson doesn't say, but we're all very familiar with that. So there has to be another way of looking at this world, because this is a world of duality. And I see everything upside down, and my thoughts are the opposite of truth. Everything I look at and interpret is the exact opposite of the truth of what it really is. I see this world as a prisoner for God's Son, but it must be that this world is really, it's really a place where he can be set free. And I would now look upon this world as it is and see it as a place where the child of God finds his freedom, her freedom. And now our fourth lesson is that, of course, I could see peace instead of this. And I often say I can see peace instead of this, giving it perhaps a little more empowerment, but either way is fine. And sometimes those who are just beginning don't feel that they are empowered, so I could see peace instead of this is more appropriate. And we can sort of look at this as a shift lesson. Remember shift? This is a shifting lesson. So when I see the world now, okay, I know this world is the complete opposite. It's upside down. So when I see the world as a place of freedom instead of a prison, now I will realize that it actually reflects the laws of God and not the rules that I made up to have it obey and for me to obey. Now remember this when we get to lesson 76. Spoiler alert. I will understand that peace, not war, abides in the world. And I will perceive that peace also abides in the hearts of all who share this place with me. But what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to stop looking for war, because right now that's what I'm doing. I'm looking for war, and of course I will find it. I'm looking for unrest, and I will find it. My mind is part of God's. I'm very holy. We are very holy. Peace is an attribute within us. Peace is an attribute of our Father. Our Father is very holy, and therefore so are we. And as I share the peace of the world with all of my brothers, with all of the sonship, I will begin to understand that this peace comes from deep within myself. And perhaps, as the Course says many times, perhaps not in a space that we're completely aware of at this time, but that peace is deep within me. And the world that I look upon will take on the light of my forgiveness, and now forgiveness will shine back to me. And in this light, I will begin to see what my illusions about myself and about the world and everyone has kept hidden, what my illusions have kept hidden from my awareness. And I begin to understand the holiness of all living things, which is one of my favorite phrases in the Course. All living things, including myself and their oneness with me. All living things. There is not anything that has life because God created it that is not part of us. We are part of everything. But as long as I place anything that comes from God's creation in servitude, in a cage of judgment, and I treat that living thing with less regard than I have for those that I have identified as loving or as equal to me, now actually I'm still the one imprisoned. All living things are to be able to share freedom with me. And today, let me, just for today, try to not imprison anyone or anything. That's it for today. I hope it helped. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like, please share, please subscribe. Please press the notify button. That's new. Smile, and take in a deep breath and release it. And of course, we continue to pray for these awarenesses to come into our mind as quickly as possible. Namaste.